person I can really give salute to is Shakur because he grew up with us. You know, that's why I get on Shakur. You know, sometimes he changes his media, try to be that tough guy. You ain't that. Just keep it real. We grew up together. Me and your grandfather, we cool.
Who have Shakur? What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him.
I was a little kid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I seen him fight his last fight. He was tired in that 12 round.
Gervonta Tank Davis has finally lost it, and this time it's about someone close to him. The undefeated boxing superstar went on a rant on social media directly at fellow fighter Shakur Stevenson after troubling claims that Stevenson had disrespected and used bad language toward Davis's longtime trainer and mentor, Calvin Ford. They were known for having a close father-son relationship, and Davis was quick to protect Ford. This caused a storm of raw emotion and threats that shocked both fans and people who knew them. Even though things are already tense in the boxing world, this explosive outburst could start a very personal fight that goes far beyond the ring.
If you likes this, please subscribe, Fight File, and click the bell icon for more new boxing updates.
I keep telling y'all, he say he's the king, and this Vicious right here. I ain't never seen a king hold his kingdom down when you have a vicious crew come through. We coming through. You hear what I say? We vicious. We ain't just boxing. We doing this. Be prepared. Stop playing with my youngin'. Stop playing with my youngin'.
Davis has had Calvin Ford as a leader, guide, and stabilizing force since he was a child growing up in West Baltimore. Ford has been more than just Davis's trainer. Ford met Tank at the Upton Fighting Center when he was 7 years old. He helped Tank stay off the streets and get into fighting. Ford served 10 years in jail and then dedicated his life to mentoring young people. He helped Davis become a 3-time division champion. In the ring, Ford works on Davis's skill, and outside, he gives Davis advice on how to live his life. He also helps Davis handle his famous relationships, especially with Floyd Mayweather, by being there for him and being a friend.
Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody know him. Everybody know him at work.
Remember Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You gotta be, all the way in it. Focus on the goal, and them guys, they went left, and unfortunately, they got killed.
You weigh the odds out like that. Do you want him to go to jail or you want him to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing gym.
If I ain't had the people I had around me, the people that started with me and things like that, I probably would have been off the scene for a long time.
Ford's way of teaching comes from knowing a lot about the sweet science of boxing. He stressed technical precision, footwork, and defensive skills, which complemented Davis's natural power and athleticism. Their cooperation was a perfect synergy of raw ability and strategic mastery.
Tank was the first one in the jail, the last one out the jail. Tank used to sit on the ring like this and watch me train him.
How old is he at this point?
He was like 7, 8.
Okay.
A lot of stuff that I was giving my son was giving it to Tank. So it was a perfect fit. The Tank was like the family, you know what I'm saying? And he used to sit at the table because I had another kid named Ramon Manning. He liked to play with them guns, you know what I'm saying? And when I lost him, I was hurt because that was my first time losing a fighter that you put so much into. Remember, I said, Tank, my money running out. And he just looked at me and said, believe in me, coach. Believe. That's what did it.
When he said that,
It's still.
Damn.
I don't hear Tank as the day. I hear Tank as that little boy. Believe in me, coach. And he came in the gym one day and he said, Coach, I seen it. I said, what you saying? I had all the belts on me. He said, I'm gonna be that dude. Rest is history.
Damn, I got goosebumps low-key.
In early January 2024, reports emerged that Calvin Ford had been arrested on charges of assault with a deadly weapon in Nevada. According to Talkboard, Ford was taken into custody by Baltimore police and was awaiting transfer to Nevada to face the charges. Following Ford's arrest, Gervonta Davis announced a formal separation from his longtime trainer. Davis expressed his respect for Ford, but emphasized the need to focus on his career and personal growth during this time. He stated, "I've always admired Calvin and what he's done for my career, but at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for me and my team."
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some very, very unfortunate news that has broken. Hopefully, it proves not to be true. And that involves Gervonta "Tank" Davis, undefeated 3-division world champion, 5-time world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely acknowledged as the face of the sport of boxing, if not one of the faces. His longtime trainer, mentor, big brother, uncle, father figure, and Coach Calvin Ford. Now we know Coach Calvin Ford has been arrested recently. Over the past week, he has been arrested. And now more details are surfacing as he's still detained. And Coach Calvin is in some very hot water, according to these accusations, allegedly. So he's been detained, he's been arrested, and he's been in jail ever since. And you hear his partner, longtime partner, training partner, and his assistant trainer, Coach Kenny Ellis, and his fighters, you know, they keep saying free Coach Calvin, so on and so forth. If you don't know the backstory and the history of Coach Calvin Ford, you look at the show The Wire, and he's one of the characters on The Wire that, you know, was in the streets, went to jail, got his life together, became a trainer in the sport of boxing, and, you know, opened up Upton Boxing Gym out there in Baltimore.
Gervonta Davis and Calvin Ford had briefly split ways before the Lamont Roach fight. Davis confirmed the split during an Instagram Live session, describing it as a mutual choice. In a recent interview, Ford provided insights into the reasons behind their separation, emphasizing that the choice was made in the best interest of both parties. The split from Ford marks a major transition in Davis's career. While the fall impact remains to be seen, Davis has voiced confidence in his ability to continue his success in the ring. He stays focused on his upcoming bouts and is determined to maintain his status as one of boxing's top competitors.
You want to see you as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him. You're training him all the time. You know him. Both y'all from the streets of Baltimore, the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down. We're working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
Gervonta Davis's underwhelming showing against Lamont Roach caused widespread disappointment and raised the question about whether he's still at his peak. Many fans noticed he never unleashed his trademark power or sharpness, the conspicuous absence or estrangement of longtime trainer Calvin Ford only fueled rumors that Davis was off his game without his pillar and mentor in his fight. Observers suggest this disruption contributed to Davis looking slower and less focused than usual, with some even blaming the internal tension for his lack of sharpness against Roach.
So breaking news, Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach 2 is set for August 16th in Las Vegas. And this is a rematch of one of the most controversial fights in recent memory, where Roach arguably won 7 to 8 rounds of that fight, and then Tank took a voluntary knee in round 9, which wasn't ruled a knockdown, but ultimately, it was scored a majority draw. Now in the rematch, I do expect Tank to look much better than he did in the first fight. I don't think that was his best performance by any means, And that means being more active in the early rounds, not just staying on the ropes looking for counters. And I'm sure he'll be willing to exchange more with Roach this time around. The left hands, the combinations, the body shots, that's where he had the most success in the first fight. And Roach, he just needs to stick to what made him so successful in the first fight. His forward pressure, staying behind that jab and right hand. But most importantly, he wasn't scared to take it to Tank, but he also didn't get too aggressive. Most of Tank's opponents, if they're scared of the power, they'll sit back on the ropes, get slowly broken down, or if they end up getting too aggressive, they get caught with the counterpunch. But Roach, he was sharp that whole fight. I would go Tank in the rematch. I think he has a lot more to show this time around. But Roach did prove to be a very tough test. But you guys let me know who you got.
Davis faced off against Lamont Roach Jr. at Brooklyn's Barclays Center on March 1st, 2025. The night promised flames and delivered them far beyond the ring. A highly competitive clash that defined Tank's historic dominance finished in a stunning majority draw, halting his flawless record. His first professional blemish, friction within his camp fueled by Coach Calvin Ford's animated presence, added layers to the story. The dramatic pause in the 9th round when Davis inexplicably took a knee following a jab sparked outrage and debate, overshadowing the scorecards as the crowd processed the unresolved decision. Whispers about an immediate rematch began to swell, offering a much-anticipated sequel to this electrifying battle.
So, Rick Glazer is reporting that Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach sold 149,000 pay-per-view buys. And he tweeted this report at Turkey Ala Sheik. Coincidence? Truthful? Do you trust Rick Glazer's reporting on this issue? If you do, let me know why. If you don't, let me know why not. But you best believe I have a long video coming on this later today. Y'all be sure to check that out. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Without Ford in his corner, Davis ended up drawing Roach the first blemish on his record, sparking widespread speculation that Ford's absence had cost Tank. Strategically, shortly after the Firestorm forced a reunion, Ford returned to training camp, reinforcing their emotional and tactical unity. Davis praised the reconnection, clearly relieved to have his longtime mentor back in his corner, a full-circle moment that both reignited trust going into the rematch. Did Stevenson go too far, or is Davis's response justified? Who comes out on top if their fight finally happens? Drop your takes in the comments below.